Welcome back to Celebrity Backfiles. The timeline is saying Solange isn't letting up on Jay-Z, and the pressure seems higher than ever. Just days after she allegedly called him out over claims of industry control and blackballing, she's now being tied to another claim that's spreading online, that Jay allegedly cheated on Beyoncé not once, not twice, but 12 times. Yes, 12.
What I've heard about them as a couple is that they've been living separate lives for a very long time. So they together, but they live.
And if that number sounds unbelievable, that's exactly why the internet is spiraling. Because Solange doesn't appear to be joking. The way this is being framed, she's moving like she's determined to bring buried secrets into the open. That's what has people asking what's really driving this. Is she done staying silent? Or is she suggesting there's more the public still doesn't know? Either way, if she's truly hinting at what she claims are receipts, the timeline is already treating this like it could get much messier. And 2025 social media is fully locked in.
Jay-Z. And he was working with R. Kelly, and they were making so many records together. You know, they made all of those records together. They both, Aaliyah, they shared so much.
Fans are calling it Solange versus the system because she's not just talking. She's dropping hints that suggest she's done watching Beyoncé stay loyal while Jay moves recklessly. Now the internet is running with the next question. Is Solange implying Jay cut off an old fling to protect Beyoncé's image? That's how many people are reading her shade. Not as petty drama, but as a push to make Beyoncé finally see what's really going on. That's why the divorce whispers are getting louder again. The timeline thinks Solange is pressuring Beyoncé to make a move, but people are divided.
And in this book, I talk about how Beyonce has indoctrinated so many modern day women to think that they can replace their man, to be single, be independent, be strong, whatever. But when push came to shove and Jay-Z cheated on her ass stayed put right there. Why? Because Jay-Z's a billionaire, he's successful, he has more status than she does. And here's the problem. Beyonce has status too, but how many men are going to rise up to Beyonce's level?
Like Jay-Z.
Dragging your sister's husband publicly is bold, messy, and risks embarrassing the entire family. Still, supporters say Solange believes this is the only way to break what she sees as a toxic cycle. And of course, people keep bringing up the elevator incident because in the internet's mind, that moment was never random. The long-standing rumor is that she learned something that night and reacted. Now, in 2025, the timeline is saying she's not letting it go. She's digging, posting, and moving like she wants the world to see Jay-Z without any filter. And according to the timeline, she's not doing it alone.
Told you before, Aaliyah was SA'd as a minor by several producers and was treated like a piece of meat to be bought and sold by different producers up until the time that she passed.
People are claiming she's backing singer Maya, bringing old rumors back into focus that Jay allegedly tried to get close during studio sessions. When it didn't go the way he wanted, he's said to have used his influence to make things difficult for her. Now there's even talk of a producer from that time confirming a tense moment in the studio, describing Jay as entitled, easily offended, and quick to flex power. And Solange is using stories like that to push one message. Jay's influence didn't just shape hits, it allegedly shaped who got opportunities and who got shut out.
Free Britney, y'all need to be doing a campaign that say free Beyonce.
Beyonce is free.
She is a prisoner in a guilt.
And then the internet does what it always does. It pulls the elevator moment back into the conversation and asks whether that night was really random, or if it was years of buildup finally boiling over. Once Maya's name got tied to cheating rumors, the timeline went into full detective mode. Old photos resurfaced, blogs went wild, and then lemonade dropped. Becky with the good hair made people point fingers even harder. But Maya addressed it directly. When a fan asked if she'd had an 11-year affair with Jay-Z, she shut it down publicly, saying, "Never did, never was, never will."
Before, Aaliyah was SA'd as a minor by several producers and was treated like a piece of meat to be bought and sold by different producers up until the time that she passed away. A couple of years after she passed away, a fairly large record producer started making some calls about a singer he had working out of his studio.
She followed up by saying she plays second to no one, pays her own bills, and respects herself and marriage too much for that. Later, in an interview, Maya suggested her career took hits because she refused pressure from someone powerful in the industry. She didn't name names, but the internet started connecting dots anyway. Now in 2025, Solange is pulling that entire storyline back into the spotlight, saying the pattern itself is the point. She's alleging that Jay pursued women and, when they didn't go along, their careers allegedly suffered. And when the reaction didn't land as hard as expected, Solange escalated further, claiming Jay has been cheating on Beyoncé since the very beginning, suggesting the Carter timeline isn't as clean as the public version.
She was 15 and eager, and soon different label heads were scouting her. And this is allegedly Tierra Marie. She was sold to this pseudo corn star and celebrity sibling. You can also take a guess at that one. He loves controlling vulnerable women. It is his specialty. Anyway, he started controlling the career of this singer. He brought her to the attention of this A+ list rapper and mogul.
She resurfaced an old clip from a 2007 interview where Jay-Z said he met Beyoncé 10 years earlier, placing the start around 1997. Once the internet did the math, the comments went off. Depending on the dates, that would have made Beyoncé much younger while Jay was already grown. Solange didn't over-explain. She simply highlighted the numbers and let the timeline debate it. Then she added more claims, alleging Jay's first affair happened early in the relationship.
I eased up, but then we ran into each other. It's a long story.
So you and Jay was both getting at Aaliyah. Obviously,
everybody was getting at Aaliyah.
Right.
She was like, you know, she'll go to dinner with him, but she wasn't going to just be smashing. So that was like the big deal, like who could get with Aaliyah.
She then alleged it involved Charlie Baltimore, hinting that jealousy and ego played a role once that situation changed. To darken the tone even more, she brought up Jay's old stabbing arrest, framing it as another example of how messy things were behind the scenes, while the public was shown a polished image. Solange is suggesting that the stabbing story wasn't really about leaked music at all. The official version has always been that Jay ran into a producer at a club, things escalated, and it turned into a stabbing over bootlegs, the story the public has heard for years.
Knows that he will slump anyone in any relationship for $1. Look at how he did Dame. Like, I don't give a if you wanted to get away from your homie, if you wanted to get away from your partner, but to do it the way he did it, it's malicious. But maybe that was because he was the girl that didn't want you.
Solange is calling cap on that version. She's pushing a different motive, jealousy. Her claim is that Jay allegedly found out Charlie Baltimore had started dating that same producer, and that's what supposedly set everything off. Once that angle started circulating again, people pulled up old comments from other rappers who had also hinted it wasn't about an album, but about a woman. So now, in 2025, the internet is treating this like a buried chapter being reopened. And if anyone thought that was the end of Solange's list, she went even further, dropping another name that instantly set the timeline on fire, Aaliyah.
So, you know, this is going to be hard for me. Because he was throwing, his friends were laughing at him.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I might have a question since we're talking about Aaliyah, and ignore me if it's too much, but do you have any opinion on the R. Kelly situation? Do you think he got railroaded, or he's there?
Solange claims Jay was allegedly pursuing Aaliyah while still connected to Beyoncé, even before things became public. The complication, she says, is that Dame Dash was also involved with Aaliyah at the time. Most people would expect Jay to back off, but Solange suggests that didn't happen. According to her, Jay's interest wasn't casual. It was intense enough to strain friendships and business relationships. She frames it as creating real tension with Dame, especially once Aaliyah began dating him. Dame has spoken in the past about there being drama between them, hinting that emotions surrounding Aaliyah affected their bond.
By the time all of the ink was dry, she was just shy of being legal, but that didn't stop Mogul. He liked to sample the new talent. He was sampling her on a fairly regular basis, but he was also involved with the current A+ list singer who was in his face every day. And this could allegedly...
So now, in 2025, those old whispers are resurfacing. Solange is pushing the idea that this is the pattern: obsession, power, and personal relationships bleeding into business. She's also hinting that once Aaliyah chose Dame, Jay allegedly didn't just accept it and move on. Instead, She frames it as him moving differently, hurt but calculated. Jaguar Wright echoes that same energy, claiming Jay didn't take it personally. He took it strategically, allegedly undercutting Dame and tightening control over Rockefeller to get even. Solange presents it as a repeating cycle. When Jay allegedly loses a woman, the fallout gets directed at the men around her, through business, power, and ego all colliding. Solange keeps widening the list, suggesting that while Beyoncé became the public story, other women were still in the background and Jay was allegedly living a double life. She brings up names like Emile, Kathy White, Claudia Skelen, and Tiara Mari, resurfacing old rumors, messy timelines, and blind items that the internet never fully let go of. None of it is proven, but the unanswered questions keep resurfacing because the stories never fully lined up. Her larger point is about a pattern, power, ego, and personal relationships bleeding into business, with young women entering powerful circles and quietly disappearing when things got complicated. Jay has admitted infidelity before and turned scandal into art, which is why people say he moves strategically. Now, with voices like Solange and Jaguar Wright pushing these conversations again, the internet is locked in. Nothing here is confirmed, but Solange is clearly signaling she's not done. And if anything solid ever drops, people believe it could shake the Carter Empire again.